I have just turned 30. I am, so I'm firstly a journalist, been a journalist for a long time. I am a communications officer and I run a platform for young creatives called Out the Box.
What made you start Out the Box?
Out the Box started when I was at university, funnily enough, and it was a personal blog that I hid. So I'd use it to kind of write for myself because I was studying journalism and I always felt like my lecturer was just on to me about, I don't understand what you're talking about when you're writing. And it wasn't that I couldn't present things properly, it's just the subject matter. Okay. So I just felt really boxed in on my course. So I thought, okay, instead of being discouraged and then losing my craft, let me create a blog. I called it Out the Box.
It's good, I like that.
And I started just writing on there. And then in 2010, I decided that I wanted to do more with the blog and I wanted to interview young people that were kind of doing amazing things for themselves and in their communities. It just kind of went from there. I launched a online platform with lots of feature stories and interviews about the work that creatives were doing. And I just thought, this is not enough. We need something more tangible where people can come and actually meet these people and vibe with them, network with them, connect with them. Then I started events. So it's literally just grown out of a constant need and necessity, really.
Yeah, and I think that's often the best way to discover the thing you're passionate about is when you have that kind of that frustration and it just kind of builds from that into inspiration and you can create something. So looking back on the early days of Out of the Box, what were the significant challenges that you faced when trying to get off the ground?
I think not knowing how to utilize networks. Okay. Because I always feel like I've always had quite a good network. But the challenge has always kind of been, how do I utilize them to get it off the ground? Because you know how to say, your network is your net worth. And if you're not plugging into the people that are around you and asking the right questions, you're never going to know what's on the other side of that. So I think that was always a challenge. I think another challenge was myself. Self-doubt, being scared, letting life kind of overwhelm and overtake me, and then not realizing that this thing that I have here is not about me, it's about other people. So I think just being in my feelings sometimes is the hurdle. So yeah, I'd say that.
Oh, that's good. I mean, in terms of like utilizing your network back then, who would you say were very important people for you in your life that helped on the journey?
So in the beginning of Out the Box, so I think, funnily enough, the first person that I featured on the blog when it was a written blog was my god sister. So she's a fashion designer, so she used to put on fashion shows. So she was one of the first people. And then when I moved to London, my network that I was around and the people that I was even going to church with were like fashion designers, musicians, they were business owners, they were singers, just doing the most.
I think that's good when you have those people around you, because then you see someone the same age, similar background, doing amazing stuff. Think, okay, well, if you can do it in that way, I can do it in my way too. And that all kind of helps inspire you. Do you have a team that you work with?
At the moment, it's me and an intern. Okay. And then when we have bigger events and things, we collaborate with, again, people in our networks. So we join forces quite a lot. So that's been very helpful to us, is collaboration. But our core team at the moment is me and an intern.
That's really good. And speaking on collaboration, you hosted the Everybody Can Eat event.
Everybody eats.
Everybody eats. Everybody eats. I was
Everybody
there.
Eats.
Everybody can eat. There's enough spaces, unlike what some people believe. And of course, that was an amazing week of events, different speakers, different ideas, but all about kind of inspiring, I guess all people, but more focused on Black people and just kind of getting us to have a different mindset towards things. Yeah. What would you say was like one of the highlights for you of putting that event together, and what drove it?
Wow. A highlight for me was the final day, which was at London School of Economics. And Jonathan and I, big up Jonathan and I created space in the week for a group called Next Play, or a company called Next Play, to fly in and host their first London event. So that was a collaboration. We just bumped heads, resources, networks, got a venue, planned things out. We had many phone calls in the lead up to it. And they specialize in bringing tech companies and BME people, professionals together in a non-conventional setting.
Okay,
so
that's good.
It's like a party. It was a party, music was playing, food was being served, alcohol was flowing, the performances. You had, you know, people with their stall set up, so Pinterest, Snapchat, Roku, Samsara, all these companies just lined up.
Yeah.
But everyone was having a good time, everyone was chill. People were showcasing their talents on stage. There was keynotes. Jonathan and I did a keynote. Leslie and Kwesi, and Brian, they all did some speaking. And it was just a really good event. The turnout was amazing. There was so many Black professionals in the room. You know, the people that came from the tech companies were saying that they'd never been to anything like it. Wow. And just knowing that was the final day to the already amazing week that we had, it was just the icing on the cake.
And I think hearing that kind of feedback as well from the tech companies, that's the kind of validation that you want for what you're trying to do. So at the end of the day, it's almost like changing the perception of what it means to network, what it means to foster creativity and find people with talent who actually want to go into these industries, which I think is really, really, really good. I know obviously at the events themselves, I think a lot of people, they kind of have that awkward shyness of like, I'm new, how do I meet people, how do I network? What would you say is like a key tip with networking, especially in spaces like that?
Do you know what? I am the most awkward person. And I was saying to my friend yesterday, I put on networking events, and I don't necessarily like networking myself, but it's important. And one thing I think that helps me, and that's helped me build my network, is I always have the intention of at least building one meaningful connection. So that's my saying that I have when it comes to networking. Build one meaningful connection. Have a chat with somebody. Don't just be like, what do you do? What can you do for me? Share where you are, find out where they are with the intent of actually listening. Build a friendship, go for coffee, build a relationship, because you just don't know what can come out of it later. Even if it's just friendship, it's something. So I approach it that way. I always come from the standpoint of sometimes you've had a long week or a long day and the last thing you want to do is talk to a room full of people. But sometimes you just have to push yourself because you don't know who you can meet.
It's very true.
You don't know who you're sitting next to. You don't know who's in the room. I'm living testament to that. So yeah, always be open.
And that's really, really, really good. And even talking about making those connections, that also they can lead to being mentors for you. Do you have any mentors that are important?
So I have a mentor. I've had two. Two significant people in my life. But my mentor at the moment, she is living in America now. Her name's Dr. Yana Johnson. She's got an MBE for her services to the cosmetics industry. So years ago, she set up a makeup line that did really well in the UK. She was selling in, Morley's?
Yeah.
She was selling in Morley's. She had 2 counters in there, selling online, doing amazingly well. So I met her through my dad, actually. He was like, I met this woman. I think it'd be great for you to connect with her. So I asked her to speak at my first event. And she did. And from there, literally, like she's like my second mom as well. And it's important because I wouldn't even say we have a conventional mentor-mentee relationship because it goes far beyond that. We're like family now. But I will say, even though she's not in London, when we speak on the phone, I just get gems. She's always there's some days she'll call me, she won't even say much, she'll be like, I just feel like I need to tell you this, and just start downloading, and I'm like, how did you know I was feeling so rubbish? And she's just like, I know, so she'll always pick up the phone and encourage me. She's always doing something. She's just a go-getter. So when I speak to her, I come off the phone amped.
That's what you need.
If she needs help from me, I'll help her with whatever that she needs help with here on the ground. So it's important. It is important. And I feel like people forget that when you're being mentored, it's also important that you give to that relationship as well. It has to be a mutual exchange. So
that's a really good thing. I mean, it's even, I know David McQueen, he does YouTube blogs every now and again. He's really good. He's just like, people that want to get places online, he just knows a lot.
I didn't know
he's
doing that.
He's amazing. But one of his videos, he talks about that notion of like networking and mentor-mentee relationships. And he says, when you're approaching someone, especially people that are busy, you can't just go into it assuming that you want something to take. You have to find a way to balance that with saying, okay, I would love you to mentor me. However, how can I be of value to you? So it's also providing, like, it's a give-take transactional situation, which I think works really well.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned your dad and how he connected you to your key mentor. How important has family been for you, just in general?
Very important. Like I was saying to my friend yesterday, I'm very lucky that my parents weren't pushy parents. So of course they wanted us to do well, but it was never, you must pick a career that's in this. It was always kind of like, go with what you like and what you're passionate about. So they've been very supportive of what I do. They love what I do. My dad comes to my events sometimes, sits at the front, let it be known that that's my daughter.
That's what you do. That's your number one child.
Yeah, my brothers come and they're just very supportive of me, actually. And then one of my brothers, he's also a creative, so he's got a clothing line. He's graphic designer, so he does a lot. My logo, out of the box logo, he created that. He's created a lot of stuff for us, and you know, it's just it's been a blessing to know that even when I don't feel like things are working, they're always like, no, keep going, you know. So yeah, and
that's exactly what you want as well.
Yeah.
Speaking about keeping going and having people around you, let's talk about time management, because you have a full-time job. So you work with the Salvation Army.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Oh.
Yeah. So I left them at the end of 2017 after 7 years. And then I went freelance for a year. So I was writing, working on Out the Box. And then in November last year, I started working part-time for a foundation doing communications management. So I do that, and then part-time on the days that I'm not in there, I'll be doing Out the Box and then still continuing with my freelance writing and stuff. So you
managed, so you got, that's a good balance schedule actually. You got I guess your steady income, then you got your passion, which is an income source as well. How do you balance all these things out?
I don't know. I'm not even gonna be like, I don't know what to do, because I don't know. I mean, I think because I know it's important to me, I will always find the time to do it. So one thing that I really find has helped me with time management is sleeping. In the 2017, I was not sleeping well because I was really focused on, okay, how am I going to get out of this role? I want to leave. And I was going to bed really late, waking up really early, and I was just not in the best frame of mind for a long time. And I knew I was tired, but I didn't realize how important sleeping was. Of course. So when I really started to I don't ramp with my sleep. Like, I don't, like, if work's not done, I'm like, okay, no one's gonna die, I'm gonna sleep. And I noticed that when I started getting a good night's sleep, things were a lot better because mentally I was in a better place. So that really helped me then to pattern out my time, to be like, okay, get up and do a little bit in the morning, and if I can't do that, then after work dedicate a few hours and make sure by a certain time I finish. And also I think, just making sure that I'm straight, and then when I'm straight, my time management is better. But when I'm not, everything's a mess, everything's frantic, the world's ending. So I don't know if that's helpful.
No, that is really, really helpful.
But
what would be a typical morning then for you?
So morning for me, typical morning is I wake up and I have a meditation app called Abide, and I wake up and I literally put that on and set my mind for the day, because I noticed that it's just so easy to pick up your phone and be on Instagram.
Very true.
First thing in the morning. And you don't want your eyes looking at a screen when your eyes are already tired. So I dropped off of it recently, but I've gone back now to meditating in the morning, or just taking a few moments to just be quiet. I usually kind of put on a podcast or a sermon while I'm getting ready. Then I head to work. I eat breakfast at work because I can't eat too early. That's kind of. I think
that's a good morning approach. I think it's really important to like have a set structure, because that sets you up really well for the rest of the day. I think that's really, really, really good. I mean, your platform's really, really, really important and significant in what they're doing, and there's so many other great platforms around that doing such great work. We've got Ibrahim Kamara's Guap magazine, which they're just going from strength to strength to strength. We've got the Social Train Group, and what they do is advertising and marketing, and they're absolutely killing it, and they're doing innovative stuff all the time. Of course, Jamal Edwards is SPTV, and just how he's transitioned from that early days to now, and there's several others. You've got Blavity in the States. What is the most encouraging thing for you, seeing all these platforms springing up and all these people just doing great stuff?
That it's possible. That it's possible, and that there's room and a need for it. Because even though there's so many similar platforms and outlets out there now, they're all thriving in their own ways, and they're all bringing something different to the table. So it's encouraging to me. And a few of those people that you mentioned I know quite well, and they have times where they just feel like, is this working? But again, there's people that are outside looking in and they're like, thank you, like keep it coming because we need what you're doing. So yeah, definitely inspiring.
I think we definitely feed off the energy of those who are doing the things that we hope we could do, and also things that we would like to do as well. So it's just a really good balance there.
Yeah.
You've won a few awards as well. So you, back in 2016, you won the Wise Women Award. What is that award, and how did you get it?
So the Wise Women Awards is a ceremony that celebrates women of faith in different community aspects. So my mentor, she put me forward for it and mentioned it in passing, and I was like, okay, yeah, fine. And I got an email, you've been nominated for a Wise Woman Award, and I was like, oh my God. And it's crazy because at the time I didn't feel ready. I really felt like, what have I done to be even nominated for any kind of award? Like, I haven't even touched the surface yet. And she was like, you need to stop, because she was like, you have done stuff, like you're helping people are inspired by the work that you're doing, you're connecting people to other people, and you don't know where that's going.
That's true.
So I don't want to hear it. So got ready for the awards, and then came to find out that actually everyone that was at the ceremony was getting one anyway. So it wasn't even like, so we were all in categories. So it was kind of like, I just thought, there's so many amazing women. Even if I don't get one, it's still amazing to just be in the room with all these people. No, everybody got one.
That is perfect.
Everyone got an award. So that was amazing for me. That's my first award. And hopefully not the last. And
you got the One Hit Away award with Out the Box as well. What was that award about?
So I don't know if you know a rapper called IC.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so he's a rapper, and he has this saying which goes one hit away. You're always one hit away from the next win. You're always one hit away from, you just don't know when it's your time. So he created the One Hit Away Awards to just encourage people that are out there in the field doing amazing work to keep going. And again, I woke up one morning and it was like, oh yay, congratulations, you won a One Hit Away award. And I was like, what? And it's funny because it came at a time where I was feeling very discouraged in my work. So that was really nice to be thought of and to be recognized, you know.
I think that's brilliant. And I think, of course, you getting all these awards, it's quite inspiring people like looking up to you, who follow you and are like inspired by the work you do. Who inspires you?
You know, at the moment, I have a really good friend called Jamila Donaldson. She's the founder of Treasure Tress, which is a natural hair subscription service for women, black women. She's doing so amazing at the moment, and I met her quite early on in the journey of starting a business, and just seeing how she's gone from strength to strength, and the network of women that she's built in the UK and even worldwide now is phenomenal. She inspires me to no end. A lady called Myleik Teal, again, and she's in the hair business too, but she's American. I call her my online mentor. She inspires me. People like Oprah, my mentor, and just a lot of my friends, you know. I have amazing friends, and it's funny because we all came from the bottom and everyone's literally just killing it in their different fields. So I could sit here and name you about 10,000 people, but I'm inspired by my circle, to be honest. And even the people that may not be doing anything in the limelight, they're killing it in their own way. Even those that are, you know, mothers right now and just inspiring me. So
I think that's perfect. And I know that when I remember a youth leader told me this great expression once, he was like, you should do life with eagles. Have people around you that are soaring, because then that will make you raise your game. And you might not even notice how you raise your game, but you will in small ways and in big ways too. And
you know Issa Rae? She mentioned in an interview that she encourages people to network across, and that's so important and so key, because we always try and network up.
It's true.
And we don't look who's next to us. just because, you know, that person might be in a different industry, you just don't know where your paths can meet. So you should always network across. So that's why I say I'm inspired by the people around me, because I'm really looking at who's there and I'm loving it. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
My final few questions are, where do you envision Out the Box, and of course Phenomenal Woman, which is a new platform you put together as well, where do you see them in the future?
So Phenomenal Woman, that's a collaboration with Spila, and that's run by a friend of mine called Ivan. So between Out the Box and Spila, we come together once a year and celebrate Black women in the UK. I just see that as just a lovely celebratory event that every year women look forward to going to. And then in the meantime, just having like different events in the run up to it, just to bring women together and strengthen Black British sisterhood. Out the Box, I think the events will always kind of be there, but I'm really trying to take it into the direction of working with bigger brands now, to really strengthen that pipeline of BME professionals and creatives, so that their companies can be better. You know, because what are you doing?
Sure.
So yeah, that's where I kind of see things.
And my final question to you is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? To
trust the process, you know, and to embrace the process, because everything that happens in the run up to the destination, which I don't really believe that there is, because you're always going to be going to the next thing.
Sure.
But in the run up to achieving the thing that you want, those moments are just as important, and if anything more significant, because they're growing you in the process. So I'd say that, and never give up. Simple, but
it's very effective. Renee, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.